Today what I'm looking at right now is taking a still photo, running it through Runway AI and seeing what I could do. So here we have a photograph of a submarine called the USS Pampanito, which is in San Francisco Bay. It's a museum ship, and I went up there some years ago, about 10 or more now, and took these photos. So I'm taking a still photo and running it through Runway AI. First I got to modify the photo, and I'm going to do that right now. What I have to do is take off these anchor chains right here, these lines in this back area, and ideally mute this here and take out the pier. So these are the kind of elements I'm going to work on. All right, I'm going to start and stop to show you my progress. I tried using Adobe Photoshop Generative Fill. It really doesn't work for me. So either one of two things, it doesn't work or I can't figure it out. Probably the latter, but there we go. So what I have been using though is, take a look at this, is this excellent tool here called the Spot Healing Brush. So when I actually use this, I've selected the color over here. Let me move this over a bit. So I've selected the color here by virtue of selecting with the eyedropper the color right next to it, and then using this brush called the Spot Healing Brush, and then just kind of coloring in these ropes, for example. And it seems to blend pretty darn good with the part of the boat here that I really want to cover up. So I guess it reaches into the pixels right next to it. See there? That looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is then color out these sections here. So when I, for example, take a section of the gray right here, let's see how that works. And that works pretty darn good. So I think that's going to be a lot easier than dealing with the generative fill, because I keep getting either strange selections or a part of it that just doesn't make any sense in terms of when I try to take this rope out right here, it just added more rope. So obviously that's a learning tool on my part for sure, but I think it's going to be just faster to get a nice image here to put into Runway AI and see what we could do a bit quicker. So I'm going to go with that for now and show you the results in a little bit. Alright, so having used the brush tool here, we could see that I had to take out the ropes. Interestingly enough, there's a little bird right here. I hadn't noticed till I could zoom in. So the ropes here, also the shadows of the ropes, and the gangplank back here, along with a lot of service ropes, pumps, or whatever they are, probably pumping the bilges of the boat. So I wanted to take all that off, and here's what we get when we do. So now I at least have a very clean difference between here and the ocean and the sub, so we could see it moving along. Oh, I forgot to take out this little bird here. I'll do that, and then we'll get on to our runway activity. So right here, what we do is have the revised photograph, which I put up here. I put in the prompt, show the boat moving forward at 8 knots, not 8 knows, in the ocean. Over here is kind of what I wanted to achieve, but obviously this particular sub still has all the mooring lines and the anchor, and they've taken, the AI took it and put on this silver coat spaceship kind of look, which I don't want. It certainly has, though, taken a lot of the infrastructure and sharpened it. So let's see what actually happens here. And I am going to hit generate. So it's in the queue, and we'll take a look in a few minutes. So here's what we get with this iteration right now. Well, we can see it's got a bow wave, but it extends a little too far out, and it's kind of cut the back of the ship and modified it by having some kind of infrastructure back here that doesn't exist. So it's changed it a bit, but nonetheless, now I've got an open ocean shot of the sub. Looks like it's moving pretty good, so it's kind of an interesting way to see how AI works. Let's see if we can modify it. So here's the new iteration of what we've got. Let's take a look. I told the camera to stay on the bow. Now the bow waves look a little bit more like a speedboat as it's cooking along here, but at least I don't have the distraction of seeing something new created on the back here. There's nothing breaking over the hull here in the bow waves, which I was hoping to achieve, because in this one here I definitely have a lot more ocean movement, which I think is a little more realistic. I'd like to have something like that. So I'm going to see if I could swap the photo, and maybe there's something here in this prompt combined with this actual photo of the World War II sub that might work. So right here, I went back and I used this particular sub because this prompt, because I wanted to get this white froth here, but I didn't want to actually distort the look of the sub. As you can see, they're two completely different subs in a lot of ways. So I wanted the old World War II look. So let's take a look and see what happened in the recent iteration here. So now I'm getting a little more play down there in the bow and the hull, and that's much better. Still working pretty good, I think, in that regard. Yeah. So while this isn't a cure-all for filmmaking, I was able to take a still photo, modify that photo, and then come up with a shot of the sub, World War II USS Pampanito, cruising the ocean, which could be for a World War II film. And again, if it's 3, 4, 5 seconds and it becomes much more polished, adding some more work to it, it could very much be utilized in terms of a feature film or a TV show, or some way that would reduce the cost and, of course, make it plausible to actually make such a project. I remember talking with Kelsey Grammer. They used this USS Pampanito and towed it around San Francisco Bay for his film. I think it was called Down Periscope. It was a comedy based on a sub. And that probably took a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of work, a lot of permissions and everything else to make that happen for a feature film. So nowadays you might be able to do it pretty soon, more than likely, in a much more articulated way. So still examining how it all works, and there's more to come. Thanks for watching.